Welcome back to another episode of the Cycle Podcast, a show where we cover 4 trending MLB topics in 20 minutes or less. We're joined by Josh, a.k.a. Kablumski. How you doing, my friend?
Man, awesome to be here. Thank you for having me back. A lot of dreams came true today with the draft, and my dream is always coming true when I'm with you. So thank you. I'm looking forward to it. Let's get after it.
Well, see, my dreams were crushed as a Royals fan because we didn't get any better today. So with that, let's move on to our first topic, the MLB Draft. So with our time crunch on our topic, I just want to go through a few of the top hitters and a few of the top arms, just so you all know where they ended up and a little bit about them. The White Sox went with Rock Chalowski at number 1. That was a guy everybody expected to go number 1, though there were some rumors closer to the draft that the White Sox were considering Grady Emerson. With the White Sox being well ahead of schedule right now, I think they thought going with a college bat was the right approach. The top high school bat in the entire draft went to your Tampa Bay Rays middle infielder, Grady Emerson. I think he is the best player in the draft talent-wise. But like I said, he's from high school. He's going to take a little longer to reach the majors. Von Lackey was my favorite player in the draft, went number 3, catcher at North.
Yes.
He's like a legitimate 5-tool player as a catcher. He can steal bags, hit for power, great bat-to-ball skills. The Royals, with the biggest shock of the draft, took number 30 rated player, Zion Rose. Can't do much. He can hit. He is not a great fielder. The Royals need outfield depth. They need outfield power. He is a college player. He can probably progress through the system fairly quickly. I think that the 2 outfielders taken right after him are significantly better.
100%.
Though I'm not real high on Drew Burress, who went to the Athletics, I was extremely high on AJ Gracia, who went to the Braves.
Yes.
He is an elite talent. Now, the 2 pitchers, shout out our friend Egan. Jackson Flora goes number 1 to the Giants. He was a top college arm, top high school arm. Gio Rojas, this is your boy. You coached with him, coached him at one point, falls all the way to 16 to the Rangers. Though, I was thinking of other high school pitchers that had great success in the majors. Nathan Eovaldi, now in Texas. So they've got one of their top pitchers in their organization was a high school kid. And then I made a note, the best name in the draft, Justin LeBron, goes to the Reds. But I wanted to focus on your thoughts. 1, on Grady Emerson going to the Rays. 2, on why is it that teams this year in particular shied away from the high school arms toward the top of the draft. I spoke to some other guys that are in my baseball group chats. Name some guys who came out of high school, had great success in the pros. Blake Snell came up. Nathan Eovaldi came up. Clayton Kershaw came up. But it's much deeper in terms of guys that came out of college and then are having great success in the majors. So 1, why is it so much more difficult for a high school arm to make it in the MLB versus a high school bat? And how do you feel about your new player, Grady Emerson?
Well, I'll start off with our new draft pick, Grady Emerson. That's a can't miss talent. When you talk about he was in talks of possibly going 1-1, for him to fall in our lap, it was an absolute no-brainer. He's a pure hitter. 5-tool asset. He's going to be in a shortstop for years to come. And it kind of puts a little bit of pressure on what we got now in our farm system with Carson Williams, because he was projected to be our future. So this puts a little bit of pressure on him to kind of make the moves before this guy gets developed and gets going. To answer your question, though, about people shying away from high school players, we talked a little bit about it off the pod, but we got to understand that each organization has a different mindset on how they're going to draft, right? They each have a different draft board and their process of when they draft this person, where do they see them in the future? Now, for some organizations like the Rays, we have a bigger picture. So where do we see them 3 to 4 years or 4 to 5 years for that matter. Whereas other organizations are like, where do we see him year 2, year 3? Is he going to make an impact now? So some of the players or some organizations, excuse me, would like to use that to their advantage and start to fill in needs that they see in their pro team, to try to fill in those holes at the draft level to try to move those up quicker. The only way to do that is getting a unicorn of a high school athlete, whether it be like a Bobby Witt Jr. that was we talked about. He was ready on during his prom to come in after his prom day and be the starting shortstop for the Royals.
Yeah.
Some people have that talent, and that is a rare talent, but it's out there. Whereas some players need a little bit more development, and getting into the right organization is a big factor. You mentioned Gio Rojas. I think him being with the Rangers organization, it couldn't be any better. Yes, would I have liked for him to be a higher draft pick? I'm sure he would have as well. But falling into an organization like that, that's done it before, right? That has pitchers that have somewhat progressed quite fast through the farm system, whether it be like a Kumar Rocker or somebody like that coming in the organization pretty quick. The guy has the tools now. He just needs to fine tune it, and having an organization that can be there to hone his skills a little bit more will not only progress his development process, but also develop him quicker to get into the MLB.
Yeah, and I do like the Rangers pitching development. It's nothing like the Rays pitching development.
No.
But God, I wanted him. I would have rather had the Royals take him than Zion Rose. And no hate to Zion Rose as a guy, I just don't think his skill set is number 6 overall worthy.
No.
But with that, let's move on to our favorite event of the year, the Home Run Derby. And with this topic, this is near and dear to me and Josh because we stream the Home Run Derby every year. This year we will be doing it on YouTube, so make sure to tune to that. With my top-notch research, I have my favorite to win. I have my favorite for the longest home run. Out of the Home Run Derby field of Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber. By the way, you did predict 2 weeks ago that both of them would be in the draft. Junior Caminero, Ben Rice, Jack Caglione, Wilson Contreras, Jordan Walker, and Munetaka Murakami. The two that I don't think are really in the running to win this Derby are Ben Rice and Wilson Contreras. I think they're great additions. However, they're not top 20 in the MLB in average exit velocity or EV50, which takes the 50 hardest hit balls and averages those. So the guys who are top 20 in both of those metrics, Murakami, Walker, Caglione, Caminero, and Schwarber. Now, my pick to win it is Kyle Schwarber. Why? He's never won it before. As we've established, he is a future Hall of Famer. And that's a nice little feather in the cap, winning the Derby. He is also at home in front of his fans. And I genuinely do think that is a benefit. Now, my pick for the longest home run, Jack Caglione. We know he can hit it 500 feet. We know he's done it. We saw him do it in person. Hit one that would have left the entire Tropicana Stadium if the Tropicana Stadium wasn't kind of a dome like circus tent type of thing, but that ball would have left. I think Junior Caminero will probably be number 2 overall. I just don't think Cags has the stamina at this point in his career. This is his first year where he's played the full year as a major leaguer. Lights may be a little bright for him. Same thing with Murakami and Jordan Walker. I don't necessarily love them going the distance. Jordan Walker, kind of for the same reason. This is his breakout year. Lights are bright. And Murakami coming off of a hamstring injury. I'm not sure how much that's going to hamper his swing. Especially when you're swinging over and over and over as hard as you can. Coming off an injury, that isn't ideal, especially a hamstring, which is so important to your balance. All your power is coming from your legs. So I think that's going to be a detriment to him. I know who you're going to pick, but I'll turn it over to you for your longest home run and winner.
Yeah, no, I think you hit a few points on the head when you talk about the stamina aspect of it. You got to understand these guys, like you mentioned, they're going to be swinging out of their shoes constantly, every swing essentially. So like how is their stance going to play a factor? Are they vicious, ferocious swingers, or are they just
Big leg
quietly
kicks
through?
kill you.
Right. So that's where Junior Caminero is going to have to really fight, have an uphill battle with that. But whereas the Kyle Schwarbers of the world, it's kind of just really smooth swing, and it can be, still makes a loud pop at the same time. But also, I think that a dark horse in this is Ben Rice because of that. He has a very quiet stance. He has a ton of power. But my guy that I got for the longest home run, I got to pick Murakami. The only reason is because the guy came in saying he has power. So I've been saying it on the pod before. When you talk that you have power, you're going to show it in the biggest stage. And this is the biggest stage. Yes, I understand he has the hamstring injury, but I think he can get a hold of one, and I think he can go very, very far. Yes, early.
Yeah.
The guy that I'm going to pick to win it, obviously, is my guy, Junior Caminero, for obvious reasons, but also taking my fandom out of it. The guy is one of the hottest home run hitters this month. When you talk about what's leading up to the home run derby and having that little mojo, that little swag about you that you have already conquered the home run swing per se, and it's already in full.
Last year,
and he had success last year, so this is nothing new to him. Now, when you said the lights are a little bit too bright for Jack, now hold on, because us Tampa people, we live for the bright lights. So relax when you say that. My man is capable of handling business when the lights are bright, and he went to Florida, so he knows how to handle it. But I think that this is going to be a learning experience for him. Like you said, Wilson Contreras, I don't think he's going to play a factor. But I think the guys you got to look out for are the home guys. When you talk about Kyle Schwarber or Bryce Harper, I know the league is going to be pushing for that. That would be great for the hometown guys that they get far. But I'm going to stick with my picks. Murakami for the longest, and Caranero's bringing home the ship, baby.
All right, and I will say, by the way, Harper is taking this thing very seriously, and we won't touch on it too much, but he wants to bring aluminum bats in for the bonus round, which is insane, and you will kill someone in the first row. So let's just keep the aluminum bats in college there, Bryce. I mean, it's an interesting idea, though, I will say. Let's move on to our third topic. So with your team being a legitimate World Series contender and my team being among the worst in the major leagues, I thought it'd be fun to do a little compare and contrast of trade strategies. So, as a Royal, so if you're a Rockies fan, an Angels fan, this is for you. Giants fan, I think you trade anybody with value. The Royals are saying, oh, well, we don't want to let Seth Lugo and Michael Walker go because nobody values them as highly as we do. Nobody values your players as much as you do. Period. Like you might say as a Rays fan, Junior Caminero, one of your guys is untouchable. Taylor Walls. We love him here. We love Taylor Walls. That doesn't mean everybody else does. It's the same thing for us. Lugo and Waka are on the decline. Waka's an all-star, so strike while the iron's hot and trade them. Eat some of their contract up and get some guys back who can play in the majors toward the end of this year or next year. We're not going after prospects in single A or double A. Go after guys who are blocked at good organizations. Think Mariners pitchers, because they're not bringing anybody up anytime soon. Think Orioles infielders, because they're not bringing up any middle infielders anytime soon.
Right.
Do not hold on to guys on expiring contracts or who are aging out of their prime. I'm talking directly to JJ Piccolo, the worst general manager in the history of baseball. If I saw him in person, I would throw a tomato at him.
No,
I don't care if it's a felony. I
don't waste
hate
it.
him. I'm angry with the Royals right now. But you look at an organization like the Angels. They suck. They suck so bad. And they could have traded Shohei Ohtani directly to the Dodgers and gotten the biggest haul in the history of Major League Baseball. Instead, you say, who knows? We can still make the playoffs this year. Well, you
No.
didn't. And now you're out Ohtani. And the Royals are going to miss an opportunity, and we're going to hold on to guys that are not going to contribute to our team in the future. Trade who you have. It's fine if you have guys that are untouchable. Maikel Garcia, Jack Caglione, Carter Jensen, Bobby Witt Jr. Other than that, trade everybody. Same if you're the Angels. You're not trading Trout. If you're the Rockies, I don't know who's necessarily like out of the question who's untradeable there. I don't know who on the Giants is untradeable other than Bryce Eldridge. But if you get an offer on somebody that is not in your future, trade them, period. Josh, the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Rays are a team that does not hold on to guys, but you are a legitimate World Series contender. I think you're the second best
Thank
team
you.
in the American League on paper. I
Yeah,
think
I
you're
agree.
the sixth best team in the major leagues, including the National League teams. I don't think there's anybody the Rays couldn't beat right now in a 7-game series. How do you go from we've got a shot to we're a legitimate threat and people are going to start laying money on the Rays to
Yeah.
win the World Series?
Well, this is the time for the new ownership to really be about what they talked about, right? Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like this is the time where you show the fans that what you were talking about, and then start putting the money where your mouth is. And I say that respectfully, because we don't need, like, as far as a Juan Soto where it makes the world shake when you make the move. No, we just need. I've been saying this for I don't know how many years, a strong catcher behind the plate. And the catcher needs to hit. That's the one thing that we are missing. And I see that from years and years and years of the Rays organization, that's the missing piece. Now, if we can get that catcher to be able to hit at the same time, then why not bring somebody in like we talked about, a Hunter Goodman? I've been saying that for the longest as well. I mean, he's an all-star candidate right now. He is a bigger name this year, but he's not quote unquote a household name per se. So his price tag is going to be out of this world. So bringing that in, and then when you talk about your pitchers, the Seth Lugos and the Michael Walkers of the world, bringing a veteran presence into that pitching staff that knows how to prepare the body, right, for a long season going into October, where we're projected to go to, is going to be huge. Yes, everybody wants the young, fresh arm coming in that we can kind of ride that wave. But sometimes it's always good to get the old dog to come in here, eat some innings up, and then turn it over to the reliever deep into the 7-game series, whatever it may be. We've proven that we can hang with the Yankees of the world. We swept them in the series already. We swept other good teams. We've shown already that we can hang with the big dogs with what we got now. But is it going to last long? No. Us as fans know that. The owners know that. The players in the organization knows that. But the thing about the Rays is a cultural fit needs to happen as well. When you talk about the Rays way and how we develop players that we talked about before. So when you come in, you got to know your role, know the situation that you're coming into, and really making an impact in your lane. You don't got to be in other people's lane and try to do more than what you're capable of doing. Just stick to your what you're capable of doing, and everything will play out. So Rays ownership, please, this is our time. I love when I hear other people, especially good friends like yourself, talk highly of our organization as a whole, and then talk that we have an opportunity. This doesn't come often, so why not make a push for it now, especially when you have a possible strike looming in the future?
Yeah. And here's a crazy question for you, and we're going to end on this. This is a yes or no question. Hunter Goodman is under control through 2028. Would you trade Carson Williams for him straight up so that you didn't have to get into a bidding war? Because the Yankees are going to go after Hunter Goodman. If you think the Yankees might be too big of a dog to fight with on the trade market, would you just give them one of the best prospects in exchange for 3 years of Hunter Goodman?
I wouldn't.
You
I'm
wouldn't.
gonna say I would say no. I still think highly of Carson. I think that his strikeout rate is the only thing that's holding him back right now in the minor leagues. Once he figure out that strike miss ratio, he'll be in the league, and he'll be in the league to stay.
Okay. Well, let's move on to who's hot then. wrapping up with who's hot. This actually is a very special one. To me, I think this is one of the most impressive feats
Yeah,
in baseball in
insane.
maybe 50 years. It
Yeah,
really is that crazy. Tyler Tolbert of the Kansas City Royals, who is only getting playing time because our injuries have been so bad. Um, he is a pinch runner, by the way, a pinch runner, not a fourth outfielder, a
no,
pinch runner.
strictly.
12 consecutive plate appearances with a hit, not 12 consecutive at bats with a hit. And for
No.
those of you that are not super baseball detail knowledgeable, an at bat is only an at bat in certain situations. Walks are not an at bat. A fielder's choice is not an at bat. Hit by pitch, sacrifice fly, sac bunt. Those are not at bats. There have been guys who have had 13 consecutive at bats with a hit, but they walked at some point. They hit a sac fly at some point. He is the third player to do this in the history of the major leagues. Uh,
Insane.
the last one, 1952. Before that, 1902. By the way, my dad is in his 70s. He was born in 1954.
Yeah.
So your grandparents weren't alive when this
Right.
happened, possibly. That's not even the most impressive part. 2 consecutive 5-hit games, back to back 5-hit games. One 5-hit game will get you on ESPN. They'll talk about it on SportsCenter. It has only happened 3 times in the history of the major leagues. The first, a guy named Hy Myers in 1917. You heard of him?
Hi, Myers.
Yeah,
No.
nobody had. You
Yeah.
may have heard of the other guy who did it. His name is Roberto Clemente.
There he is. I know
So
that guy.
you've got a guy in the dead ball era, a man that was crafted to play baseball by the literal gods in Roberto Clemente, and then pinch runner Tyler Tolbert. So congratulations, Tyler. You are officially in the Hall of Fame. His bat
That-
and jersey from that game are going to the Hall of Fame.
That's
And for a
amazing.
guy who has such limited playing time, getting to hang your hat on something where you're in a club with Roberto Clemente and one
Yeah.
other guy,
Yeah.
that is something you can legitimately hang your hat on. You had a career. You're in a Clemente club. There are only 5 or 6 players where you say, if they are in this group, you did something amazing. Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, Babe Ruth, Clemente, DiMaggio. If you're in a group with them, you did something well on the baseball field. So
100%.
hats off, Tyler. I'll turn it
Yes.
over to your Who's Hot.
That's pretty impressive. And I just want to say this too. To do that at the major league level is absolutely mind-boggling. And then I don't think you can even do that even at like the youth or even the high school level. That's pretty hard to do too.
Mhm.
Yes, I'm sure people have done it, but like that's a tough feat to handle. So
And
good for Talbert.
one more thing. I'm sorry, I'm taking up too much
No,
time.
you're good.
In today's major leagues, a lot different than Clemente's major leagues
Yeah,
because when
100%.
Clemente did it, you were facing the same pitcher,
Right.
into the 8th inning. A lot of complete games where you'd have 5 at bats against the same guy. And if you're Clemente, you used to have hit this guy twice. I'm going to hit him 3 more times.
Right.
Olbert's doing it where you're seeing a starter 2 at bats, then 3 different relievers. And he did it in back to back games.
Yeah.
5 hits. Incredible.
Impressive.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, real quick. I'm gonna go with Luis Garcia Jr. It's gonna be kind of quick here. First of all, shout out to Venezuela because obviously thoughts and prayers are out for them. But to see their players really which they've always been a huge part of the game, but really start to stand out a little bit more with what they got going on in their homeland. So
And the
shout out
WBC.
and the WBC, winning WBC. So you're talking about a 20-year-old who's batting right now. Like I said, I do 15 games. So 2-week period, whatever it may be, whatever happens in a 2-week period. And he's batting 408, 7 home runs, 19 RBIs, has a 1.361 OPS, absolutely out of this world hitting right now on a multiple game hitting streaks. All the accolades are going towards him right now in these past 2 weeks. getting his team in somewhat of a competition and back into that division. They're only 7.5 games back, but you got to remember the Nationals, when they won it a few years ago, they were like 8 or 9 games back at this very same point. So like this is something to nothing to sneeze at, because the team as a whole is starting to progress in the right direction. When you talk about the James Woods of the world, that's also starting to carry his weight as well. But Luis Garcia Jr. has been on a tear lately, and I had to do that, especially being a Venezuelan player and the time of need right now for Venezuela. So shout out to you guys, and shout out to Luis Garcia Jr.
Good for him. And see, I was not aware of how well he was playing, so thank you for that. I appreciate you, Josh. As always, we appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure to follow, turn on notifications so you never miss an episode of The Cycle. Tune in on Monday during the Home Run Derby, where we are going to be streaming together live. We cannot show the Home Run Derby. Keep that in mind. Can't play the sound. But if you're watching it by yourself, pull up our stream. We'd love to chit chat back and forth with you guys. We're very active on that. Josh, take us home.
Yeah, man. Looking forward to the Home Run Derby, guys. Like he said, make sure you guys tune in for that. Also, thank you for having me on. Shout out to our famous and lovable Reds fan and supporter of the show. I'm happy to hear that you're doing good. And we'll see you guys on Monday.
That's my mom, by the way. Mom, we love you. We'll see you next time.
See you.